Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into two political storms shaking South Africa this week, both raising serious questions about power, accountability, and the future of some of our most vocal opposition parties. On one side, we have the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, Zuma's political machine, accusing President Cyril Ramaphosa of abusing state resources to protect a private mining giant. On the other side, Julius Malema's economic freedom fighters have just expelled 34 of their own members in a ruthless display of internal discipline. Now, these two stories may seem separate, but together they reveal a bigger picture, a South African political arena where control, loyalty, and power are constantly contested, often at the expense of ordinary people. Let's unpack this carefully, because there's a lot going on beneath the headlines. First, the MK Party's explosive accusation. According to sworn testimony given by Lieutenant General Nandla Mkhwanatsi at the Madlanga Commission, Ramaphosa personally instructed the National Police Commissioner to deploy elite police units, the Special Task Force and the National Intervention Unit, to provide security for Richards Bay Minerals, a private company owned by the multinational giant Rio Tinto. Now pause for a moment. Think about what this means. Ordinary South Africans are facing rising crime, gender-based violence, and a chronic shortage of policing resources. And yet, if the MK Party is correct, the most elite units in our police service, the kind normally deployed for terrorism threats, hostage rescues, or the capture of dangerous criminal syndicates, were sent to babysit a mining company's operations. All at taxpayers' expense. The MK Party spokesperson, Lamulo Ndlila, didn't mince his words. He described this as the capture of state security resources for the narrow benefit of a private multinational. In other words, a direct example of how the state bends over backwards for corporations while ordinary citizens are left vulnerable. The party argues this is not just about one decision, but about a pattern, a presidency that manipulates the justice and security system to serve elite interests, suppress accountability, and undermine the rule of law. This is classic MK Party rhetoric, of course. They've long accused Ramaphosa of serving business interests rather than the people, but here's the twist: this time the allegations come from sworn testimony by a senior police officer. That makes it harder for the president to simply dismiss the claims as political noise. And let's be honest, the optics are terrible. Imagine explaining to South Africans in rural areas, where one police van may cover 5 villages, that the most skilled officers in the country were deployed to protect foreign mining assets. It feeds into the growing narrative that Ramaphosa's government serves capital first, citizens second. The MK Party is demanding full disclosure, the legal basis for the deployment, the exact costs, and how this aligns with Ramaphosa's constitutional duty to govern impartially. They've threatened to escalate the matter through Parliament, the Auditor General, Chapter 9 institutions, and the courts if the President does not respond. Now, whether you believe the MK Party or not, one thing is clear: these allegations cut directly into the ANC's Achilles heel, the perception that it is more interested in appeasing elites than protecting ordinary people. And remember, we are heading into local elections. The timing could not be worse for Ramaphosa. Switching gears, let's talk about the EFF's internal earthquake in Sasolburg. Over the weekend, Julius Malema's party expelled 34 members after they staged a dramatic walkout at a sub-regional assembly. Witnesses say the chaos began during heated debates over candidate selection and internal structures. Frustrated by what they saw as arrogance and favoritism from local leaders, a group of members stormed out, briefly disrupting proceedings. The EFF leadership, however, saw it differently. They labeled the walkout an act of calculated defiance, a direct rejection of the organization's authority. And the response? Ruthless. The party announced the immediate expulsion of all 34. No second chances. No long disciplinary hearings. Malema has repeatedly warned that unity and discipline are non-negotiable. This time, he proved he wasn't bluffing. The message is simple: in the EFF, you either toe the line or you're out. But here's where things get interesting. Political analysts are split. Some say this shows the EFF is tightening discipline ahead of elections, making sure no internal faction can embarrass the movement. Others argue it exposes deep cracks within the party, cracks that could widen as power struggles intensify at the local level. The expelled members insist the walkout wasn't orchestrated but spontaneous, a reaction to unfair treatment. They accuse the leadership of arrogance, favoritism, and shutting down dissent. Sound familiar? That's the exact kind of factional complaint that has plagued the ANC for decades. The irony is almost too rich. So here we have two major opposition forces, the MK Party and the EFF, both hammering home the theme of accountability, but in very different ways. The MK Party is aiming its fire at Ramaphosa, accusing him of bending the state to serve mining capital. The EFF, meanwhile, is turning the axe inward, purging its own members to maintain control. Both stories speak to a broader political culture in South Africa where power is jealously guarded, where loyalty is demanded, and where ordinary people often end up as spectators rather than beneficiaries. What's the big takeaway? For Ramaphosa, the pressure is mounting. If he cannot convincingly explain why elite police were deployed to protect a mine, the MK Party will milk this scandal for all it's worth, painting him as the president of capital rather than the people. For the EFF, the expulsions show Malema's iron grip, but they also risk alienating grassroots members who feel stifled by authoritarian discipline. At the end of the day, South Africans are left asking the same question: who really serves the people? Is it the governing ANC, accused of protecting elites? Is it the MK Party, led by Jacob Zuma, who himself faces endless questions about state capture? Or is it the EFF, expelling its own comrades while promising to liberate the masses? The answers aren't simple, but one thing is certain: the battle for political credibility is only getting sharper. What do you think? Should the president be forced to account publicly for the police deployment at Richards Bay Minerals? And are the EFF's expulsions a sign of strong leadership, or the beginning of a slow unraveling? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, and subscribe for more deep dives into South Africa's political storms. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.